Hello, my name is Magic IQ. I make YouTube videos, and you're watching this. If you're watching this, if you could leave a like, I'd really appreciate it. If you subscribe to the channel, shoot, I might give you a hug. Might even give you a high five if you don't like hugs. Let's get into the video. Alrighty guys, I'm just joking around with the goofy intro, but if you guys would leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I would really much so appreciate it. But without further ado, today let's talk about it. We're doing the top 5 best cars in Need for Speed Unbound. Now, you might be saying, Magic, we've already seen your top 3 best builds video. No, this has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with which car is the best in each class specifically. Not saying that some of the cars on this list aren't going to be some of the best cars in their set classes, but more or less which cars we can use in the most amount of classes and how good the car is overall. Say if I were to purchase something, for example, like the 180SX we're going to be using in the gameplay, how many classes and different races is this car usable in, and how versatile is the car? Versatile. English is hard. Anyway, that's the main concept of it. Is I believe that's the way you can really judge what car. Who the fuck is texting me? That's the best way I feel like you can really judge what is the best car in the game, because if you purchase something and you don't necessarily know how to tune, it's good to know which cars are going to be the best overall no matter what. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna get the list started here right now. I'm getting blown up. I'm gonna mute my notifications real quick. So while we have some gameplay in the background, obviously we're going to start at number 5 here, and this is with the F40. Now, before the update, which limited cars to being in only one class below, it was pretty much the best in A class, A plus, and S class at the time. Now it is a very decent option in both A plus class and S class. I believe it's one of the better cars in both of those classes. Not necessarily the best in either one, but very versatile. And in S plus, it's also usable as well. I think it drifts really well in the class. I kind of use it for Apex Predator sometimes because it's a car I'm very, very familiar with, as I drove it for some time. This number 5 spot's a little shaky, honestly. I was thinking about some other car like the Lotus Exige just because of how many classes the Exige can be used in. The Exige can be used in B class, A class, A plus. It's really good in S plus, and also in S class, it's actually kind of decent as well. So that's another car I would possibly put there. Those two are kind of tied for that spot, but I was kind of, it was kind of hard for me not to put the F40 on this list because it ruled so many classes for so long that I at least had to mention it. So now at the number 4 spot, we actually have the RSR, which I'm pretty sure has been a favorite of most people's for a very long time in A plus class. It was pretty much the top A plus car until free shifting was gotten rid of, and this car I'm actually driving right now, the 180SX, kind of took over the class and kind of beat it out of the top rankings, as well as the TESTAROSSA. But for a while there, the RSR was very, very dominant in A plus class. It's also a threat to be reckoned with in the short track A class, honestly. In short track and A class, I believe it's probably still one of the top cars there, if you don't include complete cheese cars. Wow, I cannot drive anymore. This is actually kind of bad. But honestly, like, I'm trying to do a commentary and drive at the same time, and it's really, really stressful when I have to try and look at a list and drive at the same time. And as you guys know, the 180SX, not really a forgiving car by any means necessary. But back to the topic, man. The RSR, still probably the best, if not one of the best cars in B class. Definitely top 3 there. In A class, short track king still probably to this day, if you're not including cheese builds. In A plus, it's a very, very viable option still. While it might not be the best because of the pre-shifting and the amount of gears it has, and how good the 180SX is, I would still say it's a top 5 car in the class for sure. In S class, the car is usable. It's not the most overpowered by far, but it is definitely usable. And in S plus class, I personally have little to no experience with it, but I would assume just because of, how the car handles and things like that, it's probably an alright option there too. It already ruled about 3 to 4 of the classes for a majority of the game's lifespan. I'm not saying this game's gonna die essentially when these other racing games are coming out, but I don't even think this speed pass has an end date, which kind of worries me. So I'm just kind of treating this as such, like a all hail the best cars to ever exist in the game, essentially. So I believe that was a very viable option for the number 4 spot. While it might have been overtaken by a few of the cars above it, it definitely is still a top 5 option in terms of cars in this game. Now, all these cars are very closely matched as well, because I know there's going to be some people like, bro, you're tripping with this list, but honestly, this list is pretty accurate, and I think these cars will just get rearranged. I don't think I'm missing too many diverse cars in the game, unless you include the muscle cars, where honestly, I mean, they're not really top 5 material. Like, for example, the Fox body is very, very good, but I don't know if it's better than the other cars on this list in each of its classes. Now, is this guy just not driving anymore? Because I've crashed like 2 or 3 times, and I'm driving very inefficiently, and he is nowhere to be found. I think I accidentally left my 180SX at 100% drift too, which was probably not the best option. Anyway, getting back on topic here, let's go ahead and check out the list for the number 3 spot. So, alrighty guys, now coming to the number 3 spot, we do have the Ferrari Testarossa. Now, this car is a great option in B class. I believe it's top 3 as well in the class. For A class, it's obviously the best top speed car. For A plus, it's the best top speed car. For S class, it's one of the top speed cars. The only problem with it in S class is that it bounces everywhere. So, besides that, if you can actually handle that, it actually holds a record on a top speed track, which I believe is Hot Pursuit. So that car is very efficient when there's no bumps, and if you can avoid them, you can get a lot of use out of the car. And I believe it's somewhere in the top 10 material in terms of S class, probably more towards 6 or 7 spot. Honestly, it's a very good car. It's just ridiculous to control with all the bounce. Alrighty, I finally got another race started. I've never had this problem, but the game actually wasn't letting me send challenges for whatever reason, and I've never had that issue before, but I figured it out, and now we're about to race. Anyway, getting right into it, actually, pretty funny that we're talking about it here. We are using the car right now at the number 2 spot. I 110% have the 180SX. Now, you're probably asking why it's not at the number 1 spot. Because the number 1 car is probably one of the most overall dominant cars in the game. But this thing is no slouch whatsoever. Probably arguably the best car in A plus class, B class as well, and A class. It's held records in all 3 classes. As well as S class, it's also a very definitively well-rounded car. It's completely basically maxed out in this class, so honestly sending it into S plus wouldn't be an option I'd forego with. But if you were to tune it to possibly attack a track like Apex Predator, I would have zero doubt in my mind that this car would be highly successful on that track with the right S plus setup, which I have yet to make yet, but now I'm intrigued to try. So now the only class I haven't really heard this car compete in too much is A class, but I promise you I've built it, and it is very competitive there as well. Just doesn't have the top speed. It's more of a short track king, but the car I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure you guys guessed it, is the GTI. Now this thing is amazing in B class. It's very, very good. Definitely top 7, top 6 potential there. In A class, it's also very decent. It's a short track build there. You can pretty much cheese it out however you want. And then in A plus class, I have to tell you guys, this thing obviously, as you know, holds a lot of records on any track with off-road, because you can push ridiculous power out of this thing and get a crazy top speed as well too in A plus class. So this thing is very, very dominant in that class, and I know it's known as mostly a cheese car, but I have to give it its respect at some point. It's pretty much held down the game. If you buy this car, it's the cheapest on the list. It's the most diverse. You can use it in every single class and be fairly competitive, right? Like S plus class even, there's people building and using this car. This thing rips in S plus apparently. I've never done it, but it can reach almost 240, I believe. And with this motor and redline tech, I would highly believe it. So just to recap, guys, the list goes as follows. Number 5, F40 with XC, just kind of an honorable mention right there. We got the RSR at the number 4 spot. We got the Testarossa at the number 3 spot. Number 2 will be this 180SX you guys saw right there. And at the number 1 spot will be the Volkswagen GTI, as you guys see it right there in all its glory. We're going to take it around rapid transit right now and have a whole heck of a lot of fun, not trying very hard and getting sub 240. So I appreciate you guys so much for choosing to view my video today on my channel. I love you guys. I couldn't do this without you. Your support means the world. I want to give a big shout out to Doc recently, showing a lot of love on the COD streams. I appreciate you, brother. You mean the world to me, all the support you show me, and everybody else that watches the videos, Stroud, all the other guys. I love you guys too, man, so much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's Magic IQ, and I'm out. Peace.